know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Like I said, when you flying, man, and it's happening, it's hard to see it. And the only reason I know that is because I've done some big shit. I was not as big as Tupac was musically, but I've been a hustler, a street hustler my whole life. And I've had moments where, where I was getting to that motherfucking check so crazy to where I couldn't see it. Because when you're flying, people can see you fly by. It's like a nice car that goes by. Everybody's like, hey, look at that motherfucker. You can't see it because you in it. But they can see it going by. And I think that goes the same because Tupac was so humble, just like you said, the person you met, he never paid attention to himself. And I'm the same way. And I think that's a dope way to be because I've seen artists who do pay attention to themselves, who can see themselves. And then be the motherfucker to be like, yeah, I'm the nigga. You know what I mean? Now, hold on, man. Fuck that. I'm the motherfucker. Like, it's people who feel like that. And I mean, to each his own. If that's how you rock, I can't knock that. Because confidence is a good thing to have. Cockiness and shit like that is a good thing to have. And you have to be confident and cocky to survive out here. But speaking about Tupac, no, he didn't see himself. He couldn't see himself because he was himself. And he was great, and he couldn't see how great he was because you never can when you're the one that's moving unless you're on the other side of it, unless you like vain and feeling yourself. Now, I don't think for a moment knew I don't think for a moment he knew how big he was because he never tripped off that shit, bro. He just was in the studio making more and making more. Every time I saw him, it was more music, more weed, more studio time. And that's all he was into. He was never like that around me. When me and him was together, he was just pop. He just was regular. He never popped that fly guy shit on me. So no, I don't think he knew how big he was. And if he did, he carried it just like he carried it. Like shit, he wasn't tripping. That man just wanted to make music, man. That's all he wanted to do. He stayed in the studio all the fucking time, bro. He was in the studio all the time. He would call me. I would call him and be like, what you doing? He'd be like, you in LA? I'd be like, no. He'd be like, call me when you get to LA. Click and hang up the phone. And he'd be serious. I'd call him and be like, hey, I was thinking about doing a song. You in LA? I'm like, no, call me when you get to LA. Click. so when I get to LA, I call him, I'll be like, where you at? And man, I'm at the studio. Come through. Well, and that's all he did. Like, I remember me, see, I was different. I was in the street, and I enjoyed being in the street. So I would write my lyrics and shit when I was at home. Go to the studio, lay them, and then get the fuck out of there. I didn't like staying in the studio because I was a street prodigy. I was a hood famous, you know what I mean? So I did a lot of my shit in the hood. So I wanted to get back to the street. I had the fancy cars and all that shit. And I remember telling Pac one time, I was like, hey, we was in the studio. I was like, man, we got to go get something to eat. And he just started laughing and shit. I'm like, what you laughing at? He said, why, you hungry? I said, hell yeah, we've been sitting here drinking and smoking all motherfucking night, man, I'm starving. He's like, yeah, well, shit, I'm going to have him bring some food. Whatever we need, we're going to bring it to the studio. We're not leaving the studio. And that's kind of how he used to rock. But see, I never did it like that. But that nigga would sleep in the studio. Like, he did not want to get out of there. And the thing is, he didn't see himself, man. He just wanted to do more and more and more. Just like that song he talking about, that's what I'm all about, more. Like, he just wanted to do more and more. And I don't mean he wanted to do more like money, and because I never saw him really enjoy none of his money. Like, I enjoyed my money. I bought boats and all type of shit. You know what I mean? I like doing shit. That nigga just was a workaholic, man. He just used to work. His work ethic was crazy. Like he would write songs. Like that night we was doing that song you talk about, We Ain't Hard to Find. He had another song up that he wanted me on. He was like, "It's a verse open. You want to get on this one?" And I was like, shit, I didn't know you wanted me on. So I could write something like, "What, you ain't got nothing already?" I was like, "No, don't worry about it." So he sat there, scribbled something up, went in the booth, laid the shit, bam. Now we on to the next song. Like that's just how he used to work. Like he was fast. I remember telling him some of his ad libs wasn't saying the same words as the other words. The word he was ad libbing on top of, I was like, "Dude, on that one you said this, and then on the ad lib, I'm just leave it, just leave it. We're on to the next." Like, and he just that's what he was. He was in the working. So I could almost definitely say he couldn't see. He didn't know how big he was because he didn't give a. He didn't care. That's not what he did it for. He didn't do it to be big. He didn't do it for the fame. He just was. He just was living it in the moment. And I remember he used to tell me, he's like, "Man, I never know when this shit gonna be over, man. So I'm living." You know, he was my little big homie. I used to always tell him, "Damn, I ain't never had my little homie outdo me and get bigger than me," because he was my little homie. He's still my little homie, but even though he was way larger than I ever got musically, but he just was way more focused. He was way more. His work ethic was a lot better than mine. I gave all my time to the street. You know what I mean? Because that's where I came from. That's what we was on. Like he just wanted to make music, man. That's all he wanted to do was make music. All he wanted to do was make music. You feel me?